Are we sick of hearing me talk? I am. But let's keep doing this. This morning I'm headed to a 10 a.m. coffee in Tampa. Now, I used to dream about just being a loner and like moving to Montana and living in a cabin by myself and nobody bugs me. But after living in Florida, I now realize the importance of getting out, meeting people, socializing, being a human being, and just not being a freak of nature. So I try to force myself now. I'm like, all right, just go out once a week, talk to people. Like doing stand-up and yelling jokes at one entity of audience does not count as being normal. Sometimes I miss the pandemic. I mean, I don't miss the whole world was in danger and that we all might die. I don't miss that. I do miss the acceptance that it's okay to be sitting in your apartment, writing, not chasing spots. Like just, I wrote my book. I did so many cool things during the pandemic, but now I feel like this pressure, like I have to go out and do things. And I have a few friends who just always call me. They're like, hey, just check to make sure you're safe. Like they think I'm gonna kill myself. Like, what does that say? And I'm like, I'm totally fine, but nobody called me during the pandemic. It's like now people get worried about me because they don't hear about me, or they're like, why did he move to Florida? Is he okay? Maybe there's something wrong with Tarun. I'm fine. I mean, relatively. I don't talk much about current events on this vlog, but that white chick, her husband's missing, who supposedly killed her, Gabby Petito, or whatever her name is. How come every psycho lives in Florida? Like, it's always like a child abductor, a serial killer. My theory is it's because Florida is like a moth to fire. Like, it just attracts these weirdos. And it's kind of like this lawless state, second to Texas. But I don't know, it's kind of troubling that these deranged lunatics live in Florida. And now I'm living in Florida, so maybe I've just joined them. I've been thinking about this Norm Macdonald thing. I think he died at like 61 or 62, which is pretty young. But I see so much carnage around me. Like a family friend, his like organs are failing or something. It's pretty sad. So it's like, what's the option? Like you die young or you get old and become a prisoner of your own body. And you go, some people have dementia. They don't know who they are, what they're doing. I'm just saying there's no winning. I used to romanticize about like dying young, leaving a legacy. Now I'm like, fuck legacy. Let me just live my life, enjoy the things I want to do today. That's it. So I just finished my coffee thing. It was fine. I don't really know this person that well, but the great thing about comedy is you learn how to talk to people. Like, it's like doing crowd work. You just ask dumb questions. You make jokes here and there. Who knows what the other person thinks, but that's what I do. And there's really no stakes for me. And that's pretty much how I operate. There's this great story which Seinfeld actually tells in his documentary about these people who, these traveling band, like their plane crashes and they walk through the snow carrying their gear, and they look through a window and they see like this perfect picturesque family, like wife, kids, husband eating dinner around a table. And this traveling band, they look through the window like they're carrying their instruments, they're cold, they're wet, and they're like, how do people live like this? Moral of the story is, like the normalcy of life sometimes when people tell me like their life, I can't relate to it. Like, I don't know anything else. Like, this is all I know. Like how to write jokes, and I'm doing some stuff in LA still, and that's a shit show always, like trying to figure that out. And I wonder if like I'll ever, like I get why people in LA marry people in LA, even though it's probably a toxic relationship, because they live the crazy life together. And I don't know if people can understand what I do out here in Tampa. It's like I'm talking in Chinese and I just have to, I wonder if people actually understand. I'm debating dating out here in Tampa. I'm not really sure what to do. Like when I was in my 20s, I always envisioned myself like settling down with like an Indian girl, probably because my girlfriend was Indian in my 20s. And then as you get older, you're like, well, most Indian girls get married, and I started dating like outside my race. I dated an Asian girl, some white chick, just a bunch of different girls. And now I'm like, well, I guess I'm just trying to find somebody that I'm compatible with, but I'm like broken on the inside, so good luck with that. It doesn't matter what age you are, right? Everybody I know who like dates or who's in a relationship, like they have their ups and downs, and I see the beauty in being single too, because you don't have to worry about all that nonsense. You can just live your life and live in a vacuum. Nobody bothers you like the Unabomber or something. Depends what you want. I'm not a relationship consultant, nor do I claim to be. A friend of mine went through a divorce, and he was paying alimony. He lost, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty bad. He lost like $40,000. He had to pay alimony. His ex-wife didn't work. And it was like, man, what a headache that is to have to go through a divorce. I felt lucky. I felt really lucky. Not that I was going through a divorce, but I was like, that's one more headache that I couldn't deal with, especially now. One thing which is a must for me at this point in my life is dating girls who have their shit together. I mean, my God, the train wreck of relationships with girls who are like struggling actresses and models, forget about it. Like, I just can't be that guy, right? because what happens is they start leaning on me for help, and it's not really a relationship anymore. It's like I'm their manager. So it's refreshing when I find somebody who just, knows what they want. People ask me sometimes, oh, you should date a comedian. No way. That's not going to happen. Most comedians are psychotic. So, you put two psychotic people in a relationship, that's like a nuclear bomb going off. But I will say, most female comedians are very strong, independent women. I used to know Whitney Cummings. I've met Chelsea Handler, and they are A-type personalities. They're smart, and there's a reason why they're successful. Like comedy, you have to be strong to survive, especially in a male-dominated profession. So if you're a female comedian doing comedy, and you're funny, and you're successful, you have my respect. I know people must be watching these vlogs and think, oh, Tarun's this lone wolf. He just hates people and is a misanthrope. That's not true. I am actually collaborating with somebody in Hollywood right now, and I never thought I would collaborate with people ever again. I just thought well, I've done it a few times. It was what it was, and I'm just gonna do my own shit. Truth be told, this current collaboration is pretty solid. I don't want to jinx it, but I'll go on to say that I think this person is actually a better writer than I am. Definitely has different strengths than I have, and it's really opened my eyes. So my advice to anybody who wants to collaborate on anything creative, yeah, you might go through some bad partnerships, but sometimes you'll find somebody who can really elevate your own work, and I think that's an important thing to recognize and hold on to. Like, there's been some really amazing collaborations in Hollywood, like Brian Grazer, Ron Howard, Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer. I mean, the list goes on. So I'm trying to keep my options open. I never want to be a guy who just lives totally by himself and just says no to opportunities. And, I feel very good about what's happening right now. A friend of mine called me up last night, and they were like, hey, dude, Hasan Minaj, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, he's playing the Microsoft Arena in LA or something? And I was like, I don't care, man. I really don't. Look, there's always going to be a more successful South Asian person. Like, when I was coming up, it was Kal Penn, then it was Aziz Ansari, now it's Hasan Minaj. And the great thing about getting old is you just stop caring. You're like, hey, let them live their life. I'm happy for him, but let me just do me. Like, what I do is totally different than what anybody else does. Even this vlog is totally different. Probably more desperate, but it's different. Give me that. Give me that. Well, this vlog's coming to an end. I feel like a messed up Mr. Rogers. Like, thanks for spending your day with me. Tune in tomorrow for more problems and neurosis so you can feel better about your own life. Thanks for watching. Take care.